We're going.
All right.
Yeah.
Welcome back to the Bridge Between podcast, everyone. I am Reina. I'm back here with Sosa.
Hey, y'all.
And
What's up?
this is the Bridge Between podcast. We do have a couple special guests here with us. We have Jess back in the building.
Return guest.
Hey, y'all. I'm back, y'all.
And we are bringing a friend this time, Andrea Cole.
Yay.
And if I'm not mistaken, where are you from, Andrea?
I am from North Carolina. Charlotte, North Carolina is where I reside.
All right. So we have a Charlotte, North Carolina native in the building today. And we wanted to give her some love and appreciation on the podcast because she's doing great things. But before we go ahead and show her some love, I want to send all our listeners, all of our people that have been commenting, liking, subscribing, sharing, reposting, buying us coffees. We love you. We appreciate you. Please continue to comment, email us topics, share with your friends, have these conversations, and all that good stuff. So let's go ahead and get into it.
Hey.
So,
and also ratings. If you can leave us a review on what was it, Spotify
and Apple Podcasts, we would truly appreciate a 5-star rating and a nice sentence. Yes, we like the 5 stars. Okay, don't give us, we want a good rating. Okay, don't give us
no 4.5.
Yeah, no 4.5. We want 5. Okay, all the stars. If we can do 10, give me 10. But anyway, 11. I like 11 better. You're right.
Yeah.
I'm like, what's better than 25? 26. But anyways. Anyways.
Look, and she counts, y'all.
Oh, happy summer solstice.
Oh, it is happy summer solstice, guys, as we are recording and filming this. The summer solstice just passed and it's beautiful. I hope you guys spent it well. So with that being said, I would love to get deeper into who Andrea Cole is. Tell us more. For our people that are watching on YouTube, we have a huge title next to Andrea's name. So I would like you to go into depth about what this title is about for our listeners. Break it down for us, girl, because I don't know those acronyms.
Let's go. What language do you speak?
Yeah, exactly.
Tell us. I want to know.
Let's break it down.
Yes.
So, yes.
I took psychology, so
Yes.
I forgot.
So Andrea Cole, LCSW, that's licensed clinical social worker.
Okay.
So that's a mental health therapist. There are multiple types of therapy and therapists. Beside that is RYT 300. That's a 300-hour yoga instructor. And but I'm also a Reiki practitioner, comedically based.
Yes. So explain to us, Andrea, you say comedically based. What do you mean by that? What is comedic? Tell the people, explain to us.
Absolutely. So it's comedic Reiki. It's also specifically titled Ra Seiki Comedic Reiki. That's the actual title of it, and comedic meaning of ancient Egypt. So there are 2 forms. I believe the other type is Usui Reiki. That's from the Japanese tradition. Comedic dates way back, centuries, 21st, like way back, to like your scripts and stuff in the tomb and all that. So it's been around. The power
the
of
emerald
touch,
tablets and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Is it more ritual
librarian over there?
Is it more ritual based? The type of energy?
That's a great question. We do work with a specific deity, yes, but the same rules apply where you're able to transmute energy in different ways, be it sound, vibrations, smells, all these different ways. So yes, signs especially.
That's so interesting because I feel as though I've only heard about the Japanese traditional Reiki. So this is beautiful to hear about. And can I ask, how did you get into that, or who showed you that? Where did you learn that?
Yes. It's so crazy. I love supporting Black vending fairs, all the tables and having to go to one day. And I was like, okay, this is really cool information. By that point, I'd already been a clinical social worker and a yoga instructor. So seeing that, it was like, okay, like maybe we need to add something else. I always go with the ease and flow, whatever feels radiant. I went to the table, she introduced it to me, and ever since then, I never really knew about Reiki at all, but I knew it was a different natural modality. And the fact that it was black.
Black all black everything, y'all.
Yes.
Don't forget, y'all.
Yes,
Happy Juneteenth.
Yes.
Just
Happy Juneteenth. That's amazing. I really love that. I really think that it was very divine for you to find that. But also, I forgot to ask, since we have Jess here, how did you find Jess, and how did you
find
Yes, how did you guys find each other?
Wait,
How did we
that's
find
how
each
we
other?
know Andrea.
And
to back up a little bit,
exactly,
we
yes.
know Andrea through Jess.
Yes.
And how did y'all meet?
Yeah. So I'll let you explain what type, because I was saying to her the other day, the martial art that we took, you remembered the name and
Yeah,
all
yeah.
the things. I was
Yeah,
just
yeah, I heard that.
like, mixed martial arts from a really cool black guy.
All
So
I need to know.
we did take a mixed martial arts class together in Charlotte. I was in Charlotte during most of the pandemic, living with mom and staying with mom. And my mom actually took the class before I did. And then
Mama.
I joined, and mama, right? We like to bring her up every
Yeah.
episode that I'm on, guys, just
Yes.
so you know.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so she took the class first, and then I joined them when I got to Charlotte, and then I mean, we hit it off right away. I mean, just like all of us did.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah.
You know, you connect with the right people, and I
Yeah.
feel like you attract the right people, and
Forces unite.
right,
Andrea,
right. We
what
need
was
them
that line
superpowers
you
together,
said
y'all.
yesterday about aligning and people and directions? Remember that one liner you said?
The line about aligning in directions and
high,
people.
high vibration.
Oh, we were talking about the concept of time, and I noticed that time had gone by so quickly. And I was saying that when we operate in all high frequency values that align, that the time does just fly in different ways. That's what I
It's
was
like it doesn't exist.
It doesn't
It
exist.
doesn't.
So you're in
But
a
you
tunnel.
know when it's slow, right? You know when you're not appreciating what you're doing, and
Oh,
you're
yeah,
like,
yeah.
what in the
Yeah, yeah.
world? It is going.
Yeah, yeah.
So they're different dynamics. But
the
we can
limit
control
does
it.
not exist,
We
y'all.
can control
it does
that.
Not
That's
exist.
bars.
Yeah,
we can control that.
bars.
Yeah.
She out here, y'all.
Wait, so what was the name of the class that you guys took?
So it was, and it was actually multiple classes. So we were doing 3 times a week for
Yeah.
hours.
Oh,
hours.
so y'all really got to
Awesome.
know
We were-
each other.
we were trying to be
We were
ninjas.
fighting. I mean, like, you
Yeah.
know, we were sparring.
We were fighting.
Oh,
We were
you guys were
sparring.
sparring
We were
partners.
Yeah.
we were the ones I feel like that were at the same level, I'll say.
Mm.
Other folks in the class were there to learn some self-defense, but we really wanted to learn the martial art itself and then be like ninja status. So we're like
Yeah.
getting into it and sparring. I mean, like
Yeah.
bruises, everything.
all the time.
And
Knock each other over, pick each other up.
yeah, like you see it in our eyes, like, oh, I know that I can go like full 100% with Andrea.
That's,
So
that's
we'd be like,
amazing
"Ah."
because most people don't commit in those type of situations. That's how they never learn, because they're not really like putting their all in. So
Exactly.
I'm so
For sure.
happy, and that's beautiful that you found such a good partner.
And together,
And
as Black
together,
women,
as
too.
Black women.
That's great.
Shout out to
I mean,
y'all.
that's really
Yeah.
what he tried to highlight as a teacher.
Yeah.
Was trying to help and protect Black women and help them learn self-defense in general
Mhm.
through this martial art.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's called Sanuka's Ryu Jiu-Jitsu. Yeah.
There you go.
Awesome.
It's a combination
You
of
know,
a
you know
couple.
why I didn't remember it. I'm like, mixed martial arts. Everybody gets that.
So I want to come back to your practice of choosing to do, because you're still enrolled in school or going.
That's also a great question.
Yeah.
All these are wonderful questions.
Yeah.
By the way. That
All
bridge
the
between.
Yes. Rate us.
So
5
actually,
stars.
after completing all the 3 modalities I was telling you about, I actually just re-enrolled to get my doctorate in education. So it's community counseling and care with a traumatology focus. That traumatology focus for me is Black women wellness. So that's the research that I'm focusing on, the best modalities.
And what sprung that? I mean, obviously
Yeah.
your own experience
Ye-
on this earth, but what made you decide to do that and not be a doctor or not be a nurse or a teacher?
Yeah, for sure. It's so interesting because like I really held education to a very high standard, and when I was younger, and like education doesn't matter to me at all. I appreciate everything that I've experienced, all of the gateways and the doors that things have opened, and I think once I realized why I wanted to get this doctorate to contribute to the body of Black women wellness, then it was like, okay, I need to do this. I need to be able to research and then disseminate information, because when I'm looking at stuff, there's not a lot of stuff on Black women in general. And I'm here as a Black woman in this particular lifetime. So I have to do what I can to teach.
Yes, 1,000%. Will say, was there anything about Black men when you do look into this trauma and wellness? Because I also feel like just health and wellness and psychology and a lot of things like medical studies are based on men or non-menstruating women, because women's cycles are so hard to regulate and track, and we're basically too complicated. The scientists don't want to figure
Like,
it
we
out.
give up.
Yeah,
We
so we
give
can give
up.
up. So we're just going to study the men and the non-menstruating women. So do you notice
Good
that?
points here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So do you
Put it in a
notice that
machine
they
that says,
also
"Can't
talk
compute."
about men as well? Because I know that also as a man, we don't expect them to be emotional or to maybe even carry trauma the same way as a woman does. So is there any emphasis on that as well? Do they talk about the difference between men and women trauma?
That's a great question. So I'm thinking like, when it comes to what I have noticed, because I've been in this program about a year, some foundational things, I've really been focusing on the modality that I want to kind of go in depth in. And that's kind of what I've been bringing out, like when it comes to the mindfulness practice, when it comes to the natural elements and stuff. And what I've noticed within that research is that the studies are based around white people, period. So I take it a step further. Like, I'm like, yes, I love the Black community. This is going to apply to the Black community. When I say Black community, I mean people of the African diaspora, right? And at the same time, it's like, yeah, I'm here as a Black woman. I need to have a niche. And I've lived this experience, so I can produce that relatability when it comes to like who I serve and what that looks like. Yeah, because honestly, my bread and butter, like for clients and stuff, y'all, is like literally like Black women, maybe like 23 to like 50s, regardless of the situation, Black women that understand what's going on in their lives or something needs to change. And I'm there to be able to provide whatever confidence. I'm there to help them remember who they are, remember who their spirit is, right? So, yeah.
That's beautiful. More uplifts and support Black women, y'all, because it's a war on women out here. So,
hey. It's changing. What gives you that spark? Because like you were just saying, like you, as you were talking, you lit up. About like that. Yeah, because some people might be like, I've had situations, I should say this on the personal level, where I tell people, and they're usually white people, they'd be like, why the Black community? Why so much emphasis on the Black community, right? Like there's some people who just don't understand that, but what does that mean to you, right? Like what's the polarity that you've experienced that has motivated you or given you that spark of like, oh, I know this can change, or I know I can be part of the change?
Yeah, it's so interesting because we don't learn anything about Blackness in our school system, our public education systems, right?
Wild.
So especially I'll speak for North Carolina.
Yeah, it is wild.
So really the main way I was able to even learn about my Blackness was to go to a master's program. When I got my master's in social work, all those years I experienced different types of things and intentional, unintentional microaggressions and whatever. But like to then be able to see the studies, like this is my pivot quote. When I realized that Black women are now, it's gone up, we're now like 4 times more likely to actually die when we're giving birth, right? We're 4 times more likely to die in comparison to a white woman. It doesn't matter like the income, it doesn't matter like your education status, like in like society with what we have to deal with on a regular basis, all those different chemicals are working against us with cardiovascular diseases, all these different things, and specifically we're 4 times more likely to have death when we give birth or have a fatal pregnancy. Like that's, when I heard that and I said I couldn't, and like to know that I couldn't control for it, like I'm getting all this education, I'm getting my master's, I'm doing like, but I'm doing all this stuff, like putting these false things on different things, but then to look at the stats, it's like, no, Andrea, like this is where we're at. This is what it is. And being able to share that with people for me is so huge. It's so huge. And pain is where a lot of stuff comes from too. And open-mindedness.
And I think the interesting thing about some white people is that they always want to ask this question, like, why is it Black power? Why is it just about you? How come all lives don't matter? This constant question.
Speak on it.
But it's because, in my opinion, they still live not understanding that everything has been based around them, like revolves around them. So they don't realize that their day-to-day life is just white culture, like white.
Correct.
It's white standards. You know what I mean? So when the magnifying glass or the spotlight goes to someone else, they immediately think that it's all about them. And it's like, no, it's because it's been all about y'all for hundreds, if not thousands of years at this point. So give everybody else a shot. And it's really just so that we can see ourselves for once. You know what I mean? We can have products that work on our bodies, on our skin, you know what I mean? And make our spirits feel good, because it's going to be different subculturally for them compared to the rest of us, whether it's Black or anything else, you know?
Yeah. And most of these stats come from because people don't have the resources too, or don't have just like proper diets or et cetera. And I think actually pregnancy is one of the top, if not the top ways that a Black woman or a woman of color can transition in this lifetime. So what I want to also be transparent of what you're just saying, you saw a problem and you like layered it down. You were just like, okay, let me get to like the root of what this is, which is basically empowering women, because without that connection, what could we really have on earth? Right. Like the strength of what a woman could be, or you know, the potential of that, and you seeing yourself as that, like, you know, that's a mirror of like what you're doing.
The self-interest.
Yeah.
So it's self-interested too. So it's very generous to understand, but then like you're all reflections of me, right? Yeah. So it's like I'm self-interested for all of us. Yeah. Like that's the vibe.
Right. Yeah. And then sometimes, has it ever happened to you? Because I know when I do readings with people, whatever is on their mind or whatever's bothering them, sometimes I relate to it and I resonate with the message as well. Have you noticed that with any clients, that you're like, there's a reoccurring theme of the trauma, or you see a certain type of reoccurring patterns?
Yes, you know it because you've been reading.
I know. I was like, I think I know.
No, I love it. I love it. There's such a thread. And then the people that gravitate specifically towards me too. There's been a lot of things like, you know, there's a lot of people saying that helping profession, you know, you see who you are or what you're trying to like work on within other people, right? So what I've noticed is that because I've been doing this work, been putting the grind towards myself, and because I'll say this sidebar, because it kind of goes towards the reason why I'm even doing this is because I made some terrible decisions in my life, like poor sexual decisions, financial decisions, academic decisions, all just poor judgment in different ways, allowing people to take advantage of me, like not setting boundaries. All these things that I've experienced, low confidence, not knowing who the crap I am, who is Andrea, like all these things have happened, and it's just like for me to put the pedal to the metal and understand how my child has affected who I am and look at myself. It takes grit. It takes. One of the top takeaways I'm taking from my time here in California is the term.
It's her first time here in California too.
Yes, as an adult.
As an adult.
I went to Disneyland when I was younger, but my first time as an adult. But my time here, the phrase is sack up. Now, listen, from Jess. Sack up, level up, y'all. Let's do it. Sack up, level up. Not even just talking about like the men versus the women versus anything. It's just about being bold. Please explain to us the concept of sack up. Can you tell us this?
I will say that it did derive from conversations with men. I'm not gonna lie. But it does apply to everyone, y'all. Like now or never is what I'm saying. If not my other mantra is if not you, then who? Yeah. Right? We last episode talked about some difficult things, and the whole point was we have to take action into our own hands at this point, right? So it's literally about leveling up. It's about seeing a problem and finding a solution. And if you can't, reach out to folks. We have people here. We're not in this fight alone, but we have to stop being cowards at this point. We got to look in the mirror. Yes. We got to see what's going on, and we got to try to fix it or find help. And if you need it, call us, because all four of us are here for this. So let us know, y'all. But sack up for real.
Sack up for real. And to go back on what you're saying, like there's a problem, there's a solution. And for me, like, yes, there's a problem. And then when I tried to look at the solution, it felt like it wasn't just so plain and clear in plain sight. Sure. So like for me and my journey, it's just been like, hey, just figuring it out. Aligning with the ease and flow and trying to understand like what's going on, aligning with people that I appreciate, that bring me life, right?
You like created the bridge.
The bridge between.
You created a bridge.
Yeah. No, but I just wanted to to share how the intricacies, but then also the simplicity. The simplicity, just stepping that little baby toe out there.
Little baby.
And in the water, you know what I mean? Just stepping it out.
Yes. I love what you had to say too about Black women in pregnancies, just because and the trauma of it all, because I almost died when I had an ectopic pregnancy, and I was in the hospital room and they're telling me like 5 different things that could be causing this pain. I'm like, look, I'm in pain real bad. Like somebody help me. I remember being in the emergency room being like, I'm in pain. Like somebody help me. And like the nurses and everyone just ignoring me, like just shunning me. Like, you know what I mean? Like, wait. I remember there was a Latina woman with her mother who was in the waiting room with me, and she gave me a Tylenol because she saw how bad I was in pain. And it's like a stranger can see it, but these people that work in these medical institutions can't see that I'm clearly losing blood. I was sitting there for so long, I became anemic because I lost so much blood internally. Wow. You know what I mean? Like I felt like my life force like easing, you know what I mean? I was like, I was on that bridge between. Yeah. But it was, it felt a little bit traumatic because I felt like they didn't believe me. I felt like they didn't hear me. And then when they did put me in a room and start doing things, like they would do all these last minute changes. They left me alone in a cold room with like no blanket for an hour. Like, why are you guys doing that to me? I'm already in so much pain. You guys haven't given me any pain medicine. And they're just...
That's ridiculous.
It was
we need our own things, y'all.
I have to take a deep breath because it was a very intense experience. So I appreciate that there's people like you, and hopefully this raises awareness to educate yourself and to go heal yourself and to go look for people like Andrea, or go directly to Andrea Cole. You can find her at Psychology Today. And get that healing and get that, or just get that awareness that things like that can happen to your body, because, you know, having babies is easy, but literally making the baby, I should say, is easy, but having them is a whole nother story, and you don't know like how your body works. And like, you guys just we have to be very careful. We're playing with fire with our bodies, because these medical institutions, like you said, they're not studying us as well. So
especially when you think and consider the fact that most people aren't coming with a healthy body to start off with.
Yes.
So not only, I mean, you don't have the foundation set, then you come to the place where it's supposed to be safe. They're supposed to help you. They're supposed to give you guidance, and they leave you alone in a cold room with no blanket.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like, that makes no sense.
It's a lack of education.
Makes me very angry,
lack of also care and compassion.
I was just about to say compassion.
In the awareness of people's bodies. But speaking of people's bodies, Andrea, tell us about your health journey with veganism.
Segue.
Because tell the people about your journey with the veganism and how that works, and how you live by it, you know, your routine, all those things.
Yes. So I am vegan only when it comes to diet, right? Because I've had people come up to me and be like, "You're not a real vegan."
About what?
You don't care about your
clothes.
Like you're not riding your bike outside. You don't know all the materials that come with like the experience and processing and manufacturing.
Damn.
So
I'm sorry they do that to you.
I don't care. Like, I don't talk to those people.
I think it's also what you talked about before.
Though.
Everyone has their own perspective of what veganism is and how deep it goes, because I think you said before, it's not as much as a relationship about the animals as it is your own personal health.
Correct.
So that's the difference too. I think
relative
sometimes
for sure.
And I'll add that. I'll expound upon it. You're so lit.
Yeah,
that's how we all around each other.
I'm on fire, y'all.
Jessica.
Yeah, Jessica.
Yeah, Jessica.
Can't say no to Jessica.
No, you can't.
No, so the vegan journey for me, like, I just really, once again, trying to figure things out. I stumbled across Dr. Sabi's Nutricide book.
Yes, shout out Ancestor.
Shout out Ancestor, for real. And so then I realized that it's about the mucus intake for me. And like from his studies, it was a matter of, mucus can develop into all these different ailments and all these different things. So I'm like, okay, how can I decrease my mucus intake? Now, am I saying that vegan food is all healthy? Absolutely not. And it's also associated with whiteness and upper echelon and all these other things like yoga, which I'm a yoga instructor. I'm providing free yoga to the community because we all can do this. We can all take a pause. We can all breathe and take care of ourselves and others, because that's what yoga is. But veganism for me, mucus based. I love animals. I love bees and wasps and all of that. If you're familiar with that, for me, I have a lot of backstory with animals and insects and stuff, but definitely don't do it for them.
You do it for you. So how have you felt the change in your body since you started this journey? Like, what do you feel? How do you feel different? Can you compare before and after?
And how long has it been?
Yes.
It's been 3 years. And my friend Rashonda, shout out Rashonda.
Rashonda, we love you, Shaiko.
Hey, I love you too. I don't know you, but hey.
You love her.
You will love her.
Yeah, I love you.
I love you already.
No, oh my gosh. Yes.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So she shared with me about this 80-20 rule, where like 80% of the time she'll eat cleaner vegan food, and then 20% of the time, like, you can eat whatever you want, like not just, I'm saying like anything vegan oriented. So I really want to emphasize, so me in this 3-year journey has been like full of ups and downs regarding like what types of food, processed versus unprocessed food. Because like my thing is like, if you have a diet, you have something that works for you, stick with it. My biggest thing was the energy increase. And then I actually decreased my fat a lot and increased my muscle. So I've lost now about 55 pounds.
Shout out to you.
Body, yada, 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 yada.
All of us have lost weight, actually.
All of us.
Yes, we all have.
Wow.
We've been in the gym working on our fitness. You know, we can't build this community without the strength, y'all. We gotta build today.
Shoot.
That was good.
Look, there's bars
Bars.
everywhere today. Y'all some chocolate bars.
Chocolate bars.
Oh, God.
So before we transition into also talking about this fabulous Juneteenth weekend camping experience that we just had, where can people find you? Where can people connect with you? And at the end, I also want to ask, like, what's your number one go-to tip? Like, if you can give someone a mental health tip, what's your go-to thing? Or you can start with one before the other.
Yeah. Thank you for that. So just to clarify, so I help and I teach people how to take care of themselves, eliminate pain barriers, eliminate just any presenting problems they have in their life through natural modalities. That's what I do. So I being the Reiki practitioner, I have those sessions as well as the mental health session as well as the yoga sessions, but I also combine them together. So it's all about the person. It's all about the individualized customization for that person themselves.
Love it.
And if
Lovely.
So if you want specific mental health therapy, like let's go, but I'm still doing some, providing insight from my field, which is, my lived experience, right? Whatever that looks like. So, so you're asking where can they find me?
Yeah. And it's in person, virtual, both.
It is both. It's both.
Okay.
It's both. And primarily it's virtual. So I like to have access everywhere. So I'm here in Cali, but I'm serving all of my members of the community in Cali as well. But I go to different group events as well. So it's not just an individual experience, but I also provide sacred women's circles, moon circles, things of that nature. So it's all dependent upon like what the person's intention is. So like self-care workshops for organizations I've done, birthday parties. I'm about to do a Halloween, or it was a Spalloween experience. That was
like
that
that.
was a Spalloween. It was so cool. They had massage therapists at this person's home, and I cultivated. I brought the incense and grounded everybody, and we kind of went through a practice together so we can understand some things. But they can find me. You all can find me.
Hey.
Instagram, Honor Your Presence. My website is honoryourpresence.com. And then I also can be found on Psychology Today, and we can go into depth about that later on. But that is a therapy directory that is nationwide. So if you go to psychologytoday.com, you can filter Andrea Cole and then type in the state, and you can also filter
North
by
Carolina.
Which is North Carolina. Yep. And you can filter by race, by problems, by concerns, by all of that to find your therapist that works the best for you. That's huge. That's huge.
Amazing.
That's huge.
That's awesome.
Well, thank you for working on yourself. I feel like you've definitely worked on yourself, but you also are a very grounded person in the sense of like you see where the light can be shined in certain places, and you show up. Sometimes that takes a lot of courage to show up in places, even when you're uncomfortable, especially when you're holding space for other people. So thank you for doing the work.
Yes.
Really quick, I'd also really love to say that, I feel like when people get to a certain point in their education or in their experience, they lose sight of the fact that you still need to learn constantly. And so I would like to just like acknowledge the fact that even on this kind of what I'm calling like your pilgrimage, or if there's any other word that we don't have to say pilgrimage.
I like
that you're making me so like
no, it's cool because you saw that you feel like you wanted to broaden your perspective, you wanted to see some new things, you wanted to meet some new people, and so it's cool to see like you're already helping other people, but you're also still continuing to grow within and help yourself and like find yourself in other ways. So that's really cool.
Yeah,
cool.
Andrea.
Yes. And this is what we need from our healers, y'all.
Andrea.
We gotta keep learning. We cannot become unteachable just because we might know a little bit more than someone else. Like, and we can learn from those people that we think we're teaching ourselves. So like, just stay open, but you're doing it. We're all doing it.
We're all
like,
doing
you're
it.
here doing it right now actively in some other state. So like,
and then you saying that, it's like the acknowledgement of it. It's the acknowledgement, and it's like you can pour into everybody, right? You can pour in, and it's like it's nice when I'm good. I'm pouring to myself, whatever, and I've had to learn that and set boundaries, all that stuff. At the same time, to hear it, to hear and to feel it, and to know that you're sincere, to know we really care, and that's really in who we are as individuals. We're a collective society, but if we take time for ourselves and grow individually, we can progress collectively. So I'm here for it.
Yes.
Bars.
The key and the power is in the education.
Yes. Black love, black
hug a friend, y'all. Hug a friend. When's the last time
Black
you
joy.
hugged a friend?
Segue into Juneteenth, y'all. Black joy.
Hey, black joy.
Yeah, I got the shoulders too. Yeah, let's do it.
I know.
So we recently just came back, as in literally recently, like this morning.
A few hours ago.
Yeah, a couple of hours ago.
4 a.m.
We've pulled up to Long Beach again, but we went to Yosemite National Park, and we also went to Mono Hot Springs. And it was Andrea's first time camping in a tent, y'all.
Oh shit, I forgot about that.
Yes.
So
popping cherries.
We popped a lot of cherries this weekend, okay?
So many cherries.
The camping cherries, okay? This is PG, okay?
Is it?
It's not. It's not. I fibbed y'all. But anyways, Andrea, tell us, how was camping in California, in a tent, on the ground, you know what I mean? With the flashlights,
looking up the stars.
You know, tell us, what was your experience?
It was incredible. And I think that I'm so grounded and so tapped in with all of our frequency right now and with each other, just because like of that experience.
Yeah.
To be able to lay on the ground, to be able to look at the stars, to be in community with people that really sincerely care about you. And like, I didn't know y'all.
There we are.
There we are. Thank God. Yes. Solomon be on it. Okay.
Wait, go back.
It literally doesn't matter what we do, guys. We're cute.
These are photos I took on my professional camera, and the one on the left is so cute. And the sun was coming in over her head, and it was just everything.
Sunshine.
And then these two in the middle, they're always up to something. These two, and this tree to the right. Oh my goodness, the sequoias. That's where we went to go see. Really, to go see the sequoias.
Shout out the sequoias.
Straight up ancestors.
Yeah.
And you guys haven't seen these photos from my camera.
No.
So no surprise.
So cute.
This is us being cute in the wilderness. And can we talk about as we're looking at these? Look how beautiful this is. Look.
It's insane.
That's you guys.
If you guys haven't gone, please go to Yosemite National Park.
Oh, look at that energy here.
Oh, look at that Ray Ray hug. You got the.
Oh,
dang, you got the full bosom hug, Ray Ray. That's what all my kids get.
I got all the titty meat.
Wait, so the tree on the right, this is Jess's tree. This is a tree that looked like an elephant, but it was from the other side. But if you look closely, I swear there's faces on this tree.
Yes.
And this is like the energy of these trees are like seeing dinosaurs.
Absolutely.
Like straight up, it's a high vibrational place. And Jess loves fucking trees so
trees.
much.
I love trees.
Not fucking
I have
the
a
trees,
tattoo
but
on
she
my
loves
wrist that's like a leaf, y'all. I love all kinds of trees.
Yeah.
Well, here's Ray Ray at her finest.
These are so funny. I haven't seen these yet, so I'm like,
Yeah.
This is Ray Ray all the way.
Yeah, this is.
Oh,
Jessica.
Go on YouTube and watch us, y'all, so you can
The
see how
essence
beautiful
of us
we are.
all, y'all. This is great. Look how cute.
We found
feel
like
like
a field on our way to the Hot Springs, and it literally was perfect for frolicking.
Yes.
We think it was a lake because the deeper we fall, the wetter it got.
Oh, yeah,
Y'all,
Jesse,
all I wanted to do was frolic. Like, this was the thing. I'm like, we gotta frolic. It's Juneteenth. It's like freedom weekend, y'all.
Yeah.
Like, we about to frolic in nature.
Yeah.
So
It's
I
our land.
tried to do some frolicking.
Hey.
Look how cute. I tried to do some frolicking,
You
but
guys
did
are
it
cute.
in sandals, and it was very wet and very muddy. So I'm sure there'll be a video that'll come out at some point
I
with
love
me
these.
slipping and sliding because I tried to frolic and do the
It was
selfie
fucking
situation.
hilarious. Look at that side out.
Hey.
This is not officially called a side ab yet. It's the chubby ab. We're getting there.
It's still side ab.
Hey, an oblique is an oblique.
Yeah,
okay, a defined oblique is a
Look
defined
at you two on the left.
So
Y'all are
don't
always
skip
up to
ab
something.
day, y'all.
We are up to
Just as a
You
reminder
guys
to not
look-
skip ab day.
Yeah.
We
So-
are.
look at that.
Wait, is that the picture I took?
Yes, it is.
Oh
Just,
my
just takes
goodness.
good
Yeah.
pictures. You take some good pictures.
Wow.
There's some amazing pictures on
Dang.
our video.
Oh, we got
guys.
some
You gotta
body
watch
yaddy
us.
yaddies in here.
Yeah. Look at that.
And this,
How we all agreed. We all agreed how
Yeah.
fabulous we look. Yeah, these views. Oh wait, this is the rock that we saw on the
yes, it
way
looks like a
down.
helmet.
And we're like, yo, that's a being that looks like a majestic being with a helmet or something.
Yep, it sure
reminds me of
does.
the Mayans because some of the Mayans and some
Yeah.
of the stones, they have the helmets
Yep.
that I like kind of identify with the space. Like, you know.
Sure.
But these rocks, I was telling y'all, I really read rocks. A lot of people read stones, water, all things. I really read rocks. And these were very different because it wasn't very human-like. It was very majestic and it was beings of other realms. Like, I don't know. I can't really explain it, but there's certain areas as you get closer to you guys know, the certain areas as we got closer to the springs where it was just like vibrationally like different. And you could feel it
Yes.
chill. All of us at some point got not weird, but chills.
Chills, yeah.
Like sensations in our bodies or like epiphanies, deep epiphanies. So when you guys go to nature, like observe the rocks. The rocks have
Yes.
memories. They
And
have
the trees.
minerals. They have memory. I mean, there is a consciousness in these rocks. For
There's
sure.
so much knowledge and
These flowers.
information that we can get from the flowers,
Yeah.
from the trees, from the rocks. You know, they're medicine. That's a lot. That's that earth medicine that we tend to
Yeah.
neglect. And we spent Juneteenth
Hey.
doing that, connecting back to
Yeah.
our medicine, connecting back to the roots, reclaiming our hot springs.
Reclamation.
Yes.
Reclamation.
Yes, and also we manifested an amazing experience at the hot spring.
Wait,
Oh God, guys,
wait.
you guys have to watch it on YouTube because you have to see. I'm doing
model.
Make It Fashion by Tyra. You guys got to see.
This is definitely a Tyrone. Though, right?
Yes, Tyra will be
Look
proud
at
of
this
me.
glow.
Look at
that
this
is
glow.
real.
The
Oh,
wind,
yeah.
the wind was real though,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, yeah, it's
the
giving.
experience, the hair is just giving. The
Yes.
smiles are giving.
Yes.
Oh, Reina
Everything.
LaFleur, love it.
LaFleur.
love it.
Yes.
Love it.
Oh
Hey!
yeah. I know.
Yes.
Look at that toe. My toe is straight,
So
y'all.
these are the hot springs are on the left, and then there's a mud. What do you call it? Like a mud.
A mud
pond.
pocket.
They call them mud
Okay.
baths,
There you
but
go.
really it was a sludge
pocket. Yeah.
But yeah, it came up to about your knee in places, and I mean when they say sludge, they mean sludge. It smells a little bit like sulfur and other minerals that
A
are
lot
there,
like
and
sulfur.
extremely healthy for your body.
Out
So
here.
we were rubbing it all over. I mean,
All
head
over.
to toe essentially.
Mhm.
And after a while, the smell is not so bad.
No,
I mean,
yeah.
your nose is apparently the weakest sense you have, so it acclimates
Ooh.
very quickly. Which is
Tell
why
us,
people who live
Jess.
near pigs and things
Look at
don't smell them
this.
very much.
And then
Oh
there's
my
the
gosh.
freshwater river.
So we met these amazing,
Oh.
beautiful group of people. Shout out Gabe, shout out Andrea, and shout
Andrea.
out Andrea,
Yeah.
and shout out Daniel. I'm like,
Yes.
sorry, I'm used to my Andrea. And you know, they were such beautiful people of color. One of the only peoples of color that we saw at this
For
hot
real.
spring.
The
And we need
only.
to change that. Go camping with your homies. Go swimming with your homies.
Occupy space.
Occupy space in these
Occupy.
spaces that are so called white or whatever the case may be. Fuck a label. It's ours.
Tell
Anything we
them.
want is
It's
ours.
been ours.
Tell 'em.
anyways.
Wait, and
So-
can we also put out there that we actually made that happen?
We
When we
did.
were driving
Yes.
up, we said we wanted to embody and have people of color around.
We
wanted
did.
to be isolated and
Isolate.
intimate and
Mhm.
all of that and have a great time. And what did we
did.
have?
Fuck
All
you
of it.
We did.
We did.
We
That was
called
wild.
every
We did.
single detail out. I
Every
mean, to the
single.
point where we asked for other melanated people in a sea of
Yeah.
nothing but white the
Yeah.
whole weekend.
Yeah, the
And
whole weekend.
somehow these three magical beings came
Yeah.
frolicking across the
Yeah.
lawn
Literally.
and were just as excited to see our
Oh my God,
faces.
so
And in
excited.
that moment, I just realized like how important not only is it to occupy, but like to be able to share these spaces
Right.
with other folks who look like us
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
and acknowledge each other in those spaces like
Mhm.
was so powerful for me. Being that I spent a lot of time being the quote unquote token, right?
Mhm.
It
I
was
grew up in a
awesome.
white neighborhood, so I completely
But also, can we like talk
understand.
about how like people around us just like didn't know what to do.
They didn't know
with
what to
our
do.
energy.
Oh,
But also, we weren't intimidated because I was really like, they
No.
won't ruin my joy here. They won't ruin my
Right
joy
over
there.
there.
They won't ruin my joy anywhere. I'm like, we're not fucking leaving
We're
here.
not leaving.
And also, we just got hella comfortable. We ended up
did.
just taking all our bottoms off. We were just in the hot springs naked, and that was so good.
Mm,
I was
Yes.
fucking out here
so
naked
good.
and like just out
Running
here, like,
around.
not giving a fuck. I'm literally running around
Like a
in
little
the
woodland
mud.
creature.
I was like just walking around the bushes and
Yeah.
going into the river. And the people we were with, Jess and I were talking about this last night, about how comfortable they made us feel because all four of us were naked.
Yeah.
Majority of the time there, and it was just like that wasn't even a thing.
No, they just hopped in the
They were
pools with
just
us.
vibing. They were
Yes.
just beautiful
We
angels.
Straight
called
vibes.
them in.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We like the power of our words, the power of our thoughts.
Yeah.
Y'all, we're so powerful.
And-
y'all, not just we. I mean the
All of us.
collective.
Together when we come
all
together.
of us. Yeah.
The other thing I'd love to
Absolutely.
share is how you could easily see that they were very comfortable with us as well.
Yeah.
I mean, from beginning to end, where like all of them were kind of like, we're in here, but I'm not sure about this. And by the end, they're like rubbing it all over their bodies and jumping into
we
the
convinced
river.
them to get all muddy.
Yeah,
we,
it's like-
we walked, we swam in the ice cold river. Like
We did it all. We did it
Yes.
all. So it's really cool to see that too, like how we all affect each other, you know,
Mhm.
like and make each other feel more safe and feel more comfortable in any space, you know, and how important it is and why it's important to see you in these spaces. you know?
Yeah.
Mhm.
and encourage each other, like you said, because sometimes we see people, but we don't really like acknowledge because I don't know what it may be, you know, fear or whatever the case may be. It's like, nah, acknowledge. Hey, how's it going?
That is
Good to
right.
see you.
Acknowledgement.
How are you
Yes,
doing?
yes,
Because
yes.
sometimes, you know, we're used to assimilating to the white people's way of doing things, which is acting like you're the only person in the fucking room, which is rude. You know what I mean? Being super rude. So it's like we have to change that. We have to change the way we communicate with each other. But also, this area was just so healing, you guys. It was so magical. I felt like I was on
You wanna
Windows
talk-
97 wallpaper. You know what I mean? The computer,
Oh my
the
Yes.
computer screen wallpapers. That's the type of energy
the
it was
bridge.
giving.
Look at
Like it was so beautiful.
this.
The trees on the way up were not even growing straight. Like they were twisting
You can see
and
them right there
turning,
too.
They're
Yep.
slanted.
Corkscrew.
like they were
Yeah.
dancing. Also, we saw some interesting things on the way there. We passed by Edison Lake, and I don't know if you guys know about this, but
oh yeah, the Edison.
Edison owns a
the
lake.
electric company.
Well, they
Up
own they own that part of the forest, remember?
Oh yes,
It's-
Oh, yeah, here it
you're right.
is.
They
Yeah,
own a part of
there
the
you go.
forest, and it's called the Portal Hydroelectric Project. We took a picture of this because what is the Portal Hydroelectric Project, guys? Why are there electrical companies owning forests and we don't see no barely any power lines in it? What are you guys doing with the lakes? What is this project? And I don't know if you noticed, there's like a piece missing on the picture that I took.
Look at
So
our
it's like
investigator.
information is being withheld from us.
Yeah.
So, you know, we have
Love
to
it.
really, when we're out here in these land and these spaces,
Yeah.
whose land is this? We
Yeah.
were on, when we went camping, we stayed at a hip camp, and that was on the Anawahi land. Those were the tribes that were there before us. So we have to honor the people that were there before us and figure out, what are they doing to our fucking land, y'all?
Tell
Like,
them.
what are they
Right.
doing to our resources? What are they doing to our water? And why is it called a portal?
Right.
Because choice of words is very intentional. Just how we
Yeah.
were intentional with the way that we manifested our
Yeah.
experience this weekend.
Yeah.
We literally were talking about how, shout out Kendrick Lamar, we love you.
Hey,
Kendrick Lamar, one of his
Kendrick.
songs, he
Come,
says,
come
I
here,
only
come
listen
here.
to, yeah, come join us. please.
Come.
He talks about in one of his songs, I only listen to Metatron and Gabriel. And we met a dude.
Fucking
Gabriel
Gabriel.
came. He's one of our magical 3 people that
Yeah,
came.
Sensual
and
Caress,
Gabriel
shout out.
Yes, shout out to Sensual Caress, okay? Those are our stripper names that we came up, by the way.
Well,
Come
his
up with
stripper
strippers. Yeah, that was
names.
his stripper
We'll talk
names.
about our stripper names in a minute.
In a minute, but he was literally an angel. He got us to go out into the icy cold river and was
did.
just such an awesome person. So,
Yeah.
you know, when you're out in these spaces and these places, unknown spaces and places, talk to people. Get to know each other.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
you never know where there's a connection.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I'll piggyback off that because even being here in this new space, right? Like, it's great to be able to be with Jess and to be around Sosa, and to be around you, Reina. And individually, I've just gone out and based off my interests. And from that, I've been able to, I met someone who knew me from Charlotte, going to
that's
a
right.
Black girl yoga
That's right.
experience.
Mhm.
Shout out Brianda and
coming to
Tony.
you. Yeah, there you go.
Tony,
Yeah.
Tony Rose. They do a free Black women yoga class at Manhattan Beach.
Okay.
Yeah, and you have the beach in the background. You're on some
On
grassy
Fridays.
on Fridays at 2 p.m. and it's on
Check 'em out.
Eventbrite. Yep.
Check them out.
Yep. Fridays at 2 p.m. Black Girl Yoga. It's great. It's free for Black women. Any other identifiers like Black men, you have to pay. Any allies have to pay. But Black women specifically is for the cultivation for us.
Awesome.
It's lit.
Yes. Solidarity. Standing with the people. Yes. I love that. Community. That's more.
But then reach out to based on your interests, and that's how you find the community. That just a simple step in that capacity. You know what I mean?
We're talking about community too, and like these spaces need more community in the sense of like connecting with the energy of Earth.
Yeah,
and having that healing space, because like a lot of the trauma, ancestral, and even think about like what slavery in this land and things that happen in the dark and how people are afraid of the dark, but it may not even be an experience of this lifetime. It could be the soul regression of that person processing that. So I think all of our goals is to eventually bring more community together, but also encourage people to find their communities and to do these things that are a bit uncomfortable, but it's a thing of like your mind is telling you you're unsafe, but it's like your anxiety is lying to you, right?
Yeah.
So it's just like go a bit deeper, because the power of plants, the power, like think about trees and how old these trees are. Like they grow up to be like 3,000.
Yeah, they say that they're recorded to be up to like 3,000 years old,
like
which is insane to me.
Imagine the information that is within these trees, and you could feel it, like whether you're a really strong empath or not, or how open you are, whatever. It's just even the silence is just different.
Yeah,
the wind
silence
is different.
is really
the air
loud.
is different. What'd you say?
I said silence is really loud. Actually, there's a lot to.
Yeah.
Like for me, I feel like when things are really silent, I hear so much. Like I feel like I don't know. Silence is golden. Yes, it is, but it's so loud.
Does it overwhelm you?
I don't think it overwhelms me because I can turn it off. I can make it silent. But there are times when if I'm just super tired and not taking care of myself, I'm like, whoa, there's a lot of energy around. And I'm like, cut that.
Yeah.
But that's the awareness, and also me not being afraid of my own power. Like if I feel certain ways, like commanding and taking my power back in that space of wherever I am mentally, physically. And it's important to like go out into nature and have these experiences because you'll never know. And I also attribute a lot of my spiritual awakening to taking herbs, taking ginkgo biloba, taking gotu kola, which is ancient medicine. Those are 3,000-year-old trees as well. So think about how much knowledge is in these forests that we're cutting down for paper when we can use hemp for paper. Like we're cutting away the knowledge.
And the history, like what else is 3,000 years old that we can still like touch and hug,
and it's still growing.
Yeah, and still growing.
That's not in a museum,
right? And not colonized, taken by someone else, right?
Yeah. Stop taking
Get
up
your filthy hands off our
Egypt.
stuff, y'all.
Exactly.
Wait, what'd you say?
I said, get your filthy hands off our stuff, y'all.
I was like, stop digging these graves in Egypt.
Look, for real.
Leave the fucking dead alone.
Yeah.
Right.
I feel like the other thing I'd like to bring up too is like, especially when it came to this weekend with Juneteenth and us really wanting to occupy space. And I mean, really more about almost the rebellion. I mean, I know you guys heard me saying like, I can't wait to just see the reactions of some of these folks, just by us existing, not doing anything bad, not trying to rile folks. We're just out here smiling, laughing, and swimming.
Being our colorful selves.
Yeah. But the other thing I want to bring up is just not about the rebellion, right? Like I think we sometimes get stuck on, we just want to see their face, we just want to like do something different and be the pioneer. But I think the other part is to remember to challenge yourself in those spaces, like not just be there, but like do something you haven't done before. Like for me, nudity is difficult. So for me, ripping my clothes off and getting into a pool is huge. So it's not just about being like, oh, we're here to make the white people angry. It's like, no. But what are you doing in the space to change you? How are you going to grow? How are you going to heal in these spaces? Because that's what we're here for. We're not just here to show off. And we make them angry no matter what we do. So continue to grow, continue to build, and take the opportunities in these ancient, spiritual, beautiful spaces. Take it, like use that air, use these spaces, use the people around you to have like a more enlightened experience. I mean, I've been to experiences that are Black and outdoor and in nature and camping, and I didn't get anything from it other than I got to see a bunch of Black people in nature, and not saying you can't express your joy any way you want to, that's up to you, but at least try to make time to have some of these experiences. Go and party and do whatever you want, but also sit in nature and do nothing but listen. you know? And I mean, I think we all had like different moments where we were off on our own and like had some epiphany, or I had some tears on a hill. You know what I mean? It wasn't even sad tears. It was just like me pouring out and journaling and all these kinds of things. So I just want us to not only take up space, but like use this space for more. You know what I mean?
Healing and from a place of love.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And I like to piggyback off of that because I'm thinking like even in the transition to doing new things or the anxiety that we experience or and things of that nature, which I appreciate all of us and how open and candid we are because we are humans, right? Like we're experiencing life in different ways. When we're transitioning and we're changing in different ways, we have to also understand that we psychologically and biologically are creatures of habit, right? So anytime change occurs, we're going to want to avoid it. Anytime we think like, hey, like this is a thing, like, oh, I could see myself doing this. And then we're like, oh, no, but it it's too much. It's too much. Even take the nudity as an example. Like I wasn't like so like ready to be like, I mean, I do like being naked, y'all. I do not like the inconvenience of clothes. However, but like thinking about it in those ways, like, hey, like what will I get? Why not? Why not? Because that was the thing. That was another sheet, y'all. This whole vibe. We're just all full of stuff.
So a vibe with no lyrics.
Yeah, no, exactly.
So, you're right.
And so even thinking about it from a psychological perspective with change and bearing ourselves, it's like our mind and body are so impressionable.
Yeah.
Yes.
All they want to do is take care of us. So if we embrace it with gentleness and grace and understand that like this resistance, certain anxiety, certain cognitive distortions that may happen are there, but understanding like, hey, little body, that's what I say to myself. Hey, little body, you're good. You're okay. Okay, maybe we can think about things and talking to ourselves, soothing ourselves, but this is the natural, normal process of our bodies. And to understand that from a conscious level can really change how we mitigate through it and then change, you know?
With that said, there's an example where we were having to cross part of the river with some logs, and they were pretty hard to get across. There were also some areas where you had to step on some stones that like to wiggle and spin and do all kinds of fun stuff.
A lot.
And I got to hear Andrea go through her process where she's like, come on, little Andy. You got this, Andy. Get to the next step. Oh, you got that one. Oh, your body's so strong. And I'm literally hearing her behind, and I'm like, wait, little Andy could do it. Little Jess could do it too. Okay, little Jess. Like, oh yeah, your leg's trembling, but it don't mean nothing. Like, you know what I mean? So it was really cool to hear her actually use the practice she's talking about to get herself through it consciously, you know what I mean? And tapping into what I feel like is the voice, like that little child that is the person that needs the support to, you know, get to the next step. It was cool.
I love that you say out loud too, because I think some of us, we do it in our mind and it's not as powerful as a spoken word. So I think that when you say things out loud, because see the way it affects others, Jess can feel it, you can feel it even more. So I love that. I love that you're speaking out loud. 'Cause sometimes I do it in my head, but like I don't really say it out loud because I don't know why. But that's a great reminder that say things out loud.
Yeah.
Pump yourself up.
Yeah, both ends. Because you doing it inside is that effort, right? It's the intention behind it. But I understand like that difference between saying out loud.
The voice is powerful. It's like the vibration of it all. You know?
Absolutely.
I feel like we all changed after this trip. So before we wrap up, I want to say, like, I want to ask everybody to go around talking about like what shifted for you or change of perspective, healing, whatever magical experience you had. Let's share.
I'll start. For me, it continues to show me what my purpose is. I'm gonna try to say without tears.
Tears.
They're
Tears.
coming.
Yes. You are powerful.
I feel like my purpose is. Oof, maybe someone has to go before me.
No, you can.
No, my purpose is to like help create spaces that feel comfortable and safe enough for us to be like whole, you know, like completely open, completely free for real, right? And we got to see it. We're like every single person in that space got something from it, and like on so many different levels, along with making all the white people there angry. And it was just like icing on the cake. Like,
it really
no,
was,
but truly, like what I've gotten to see through, you know, last episode when we spoke about me doing corporate events and team building and whatnot, it is so powerful to hold space, and it's so powerful to curate these experiences for people so that they lose ego enough to like unveil who they truly are. And they don't even realize they're doing it until the mud is all over their face and they're also naked in the pool with us type thing. And then they're like, oh snap, like I'm not as uncomfortable as I was when I was shivering in the corner at the beginning. And so for me, it really just showed me that like, we can all continue on this journey, but my purpose is to legitimately create these spaces. I know that I can't heal everybody on my own, but bring these people to these spaces so that we can have these experiences together. And so that hopefully, you know, people can reach whatever it is they need and like get the support that they need from whoever's kind of in that space. But like, I don't know. And to see how much I continue to grow every single time I'm in nature, guys. Every single time. I don't know. Nature for me, nature and music are the two things that move me the most. So every time I'm there, I have a moment, and it may not feel the same way for everybody, but you know, we're connected to the cosmos, we're connected to this planet, and when you're in it, you feel it. And we have to create more opportunities to do that.
Yes.
So that's
you do a great job of it. Yes, Jessica.
And y'all got to see me cry. This is an exclusive here. Just so you know.
New shit. Andrea.
Okay, so one thing that I realized for myself is that I really continuously try to open my different blind spots, and I feel as though it's about me. It's me season, right? And understanding that it's okay, that it's me season. It's okay. I don't have to be the one controlling the situation that's around me. Even in the pool, I was talking to Daniel, and we were having such beautiful conversation. And as a mental health therapist, as a listener, naturally, like I'm trying to listen, I'm trying to also ask, I'm trying to gain insight. But he allowed me in that space to just be. And I allowed myself to just be. So we were interacting and engaging, but I was also engaging by myself. I was allowing myself to take a pause and be like, Andrea, you don't have to do anything right now. If you do this, what does this even mean? Nothing means anything. Do you feel led to do it? Are you following the internal compass you're telling everybody else they should follow? So it was just nature. I haven't been in nature like this, y'all. Get into some nature. With some people.
And you were like really in your element. I felt you so relaxed. And she did not leave from this hot spring we were in the hot spring for hours. You didn't even go to the river, I don't think.
No, she was in there.
And it was like her and this beautiful man being Daniel, and you guys were just like vibing, but also literally in that space. And also shout out to Daniel because it is his birthday tomorrow. And it was so significant because he's turning 22 on the 22nd in 2022, and we're like numbers.
And we love the number 22 here. Yes, we're a big fan of that.
And then Gabriel's birthday was the day before, and they had just graduated from college, so we were all just like, look at all these new beginnings and just everything that we're celebrating. And I just felt like you just completely just like just be. You were just being. like, I'm here, y'all.
You were being a real human being.
Oh, I love that. I love
it really was. For me, I just wanted to be present. I feel like there's a lot of observation I do with the mental mind, and with so many things happening outside of me in my existence now, like I feel like there's so many things out of my control that you were talking about. So for me, it's been like, how do you ground yourself when there's so many things changing that you have no control of? Which means you just be present and you just allow. So even the power of allowing is a lot of vulnerability, and a lot of reminding yourself that you're safe. So for me, it was just like really going in those places and really just cultivating the joy that the experience that we wanted to have. And I was really like, I was definitely feeling these mushrooms, but it was also like I was extremely conscious of my ability to be with myself in my body, being naked, not really like looking at what other people were doing. And I was just like, look at this group that we cultivated and this magic and the conversations and the laughter and the jokes. And we were just like literally like crying, laughing. We all talked about our stripper names. Wait, real quick, Jess, what's yours?
Well, I have a couple, but my favorite is Jessica. And that's why my tagline is, you can't say no to Jessica.
Yes, Jessica.
The other one I'll just say is the voice of reason, which we're working out the tagline for that, but stay tuned, y'all. You're going to, on a poll near you.
The voice of reason. Coming to you live.
What was yours?
Sunshine seductress.
Yes. What was your tagline? You remember?
I'm out winding and grinding with some glow.
Shining
and grinding.
And Jessica blessed me with mine, or baptized me with mine.
But we ain't baptized around here.
hey, spiritually. I mean, well, mine was Red Light District, and we were listening to fucking
Red Light Special. Red Light Special. Like the TLC song. Red Light Special.
There you go. And we were like having such a moment that night at the campsite, and it was just like your energy to me, like, this is it.
Yeah,
and I was like, you're right. This is it.
Yes.
Yeah, but it was very healing. I think for me right now, it's just being as present as possible as I can, and not be, like, grace. Give myself grace when it's messy out here.
Yeah.
Yes, because it gets
start with your stripper name.
Yeah.
I'm Reina. No, I'm just kidding. So my stripper name was Reina LaFleur, right?
Yes.
So we did a play on my Instagram name, and because I'm constantly growing and blooming as a flower, you know that
she gonna blossom on stage, y'all. Blossom on stage.
Don't let me get on stage because I'll really blossom. No,
get her on stage. Get her on stage.
Yeah, that LaFleur means flower in French, and you know I'm fancy with it. Oui. So I had to have a fancy name, okay? And I love me some champagne, okay?
Hey.
So champagne, bring out the champs.
Yeah.
And I'll say, I would say there's a couple of favorite moments. There was just so many moments of amazingness, but I would say the main lesson that I got is a reminder of my power, because when Gabriel led me to this ice cold river, y'all, I was not trying to get in that water. I just been sitting in a hot spring all day. I got to get in
like
icy water. Like, hours.
As the sun is setting.
As the sun was setting, the sun's going down.
Go.
And, you know, he's like, get in the water. It's fine. And they came back and they were so rejuvenated and so refreshed. And I was like, wow, I want to feel like that too, you know? But even though I had that fear inside of me and I had that like doubt of, can I withstand the cold? Can I do it? I'm like, if you can see somebody else doing it, you can do it too, Reina. So just go out there. And then also, with the other amazing human being that we met, Andrea. She was
gave
also
you your stripper name.
Yes, who gave me my stripper name. Love you, girl. Shout out to my Virgos. And she was also struggling to get into the water as well. And once Gabriel was able to uplift me enough to guide me into the water, I was guiding her like the same way that he was doing it to me. And we were in it together. And he even told me like, thank you so much, because she did not get into the water with me yesterday, the day before. And that also reminded me of my power and how it is important for me to show up in my own power, because that inspires people to recognize their power within themselves. And also the power of intention and spoken word and just nature. That was just power. Power was like the main thing.
Poderosa.
Yes.
Poderosa.
Because black is ponderosa.
Yeah.
It's
Black is
poderosa.
poderosa.
Poderosa. Yes.
Poderosa.
Yes.
Meaning powerful, right?
Yes, meaning
Black
powerful.
is
So
powerful.
it was a huge power lesson, a huge remembrance of what the fuck I'm capable of and who the fuck I can be. Also, I definitely had a fun moment in front of the camera dancing to some Black Eyed Peas with Gabriel, and also just loving my people. Gabriel is a fellow Filipino as me. I'm half Filipino, and like
Philippines.
having the joy with another person of, you know, I love my Black community, of course, but also like I feel kind of disconnected to the Filipino side of me in some ways. So it was really beautiful to have those moments with someone, and like I have like, you know, brothers in the Philippines who I've, you know, never met, and it just made me think like, I wonder how much fun we would have together, you know?
Yeah, boo-boo.
Because, you know, Gabriel just reminded me of how beautiful it is to be accepted by your people, because, you know, there's a lot of trauma in the Philippines. Like, you know what I mean? There's a lot of like hate against darkness, you know what I mean? So it was just beautiful to be able to have this so much fun, to dance, to sing, to laugh, to have joy, and to also experience power and reclamation and solidarity with people that you didn't think you could have and you didn't think you would meet, and just going in there, just no expectations, wanting things, but really knowing that you can get what you want if you want it bad enough. So that was my lesson. Remember your power. Remember that if you really want it, you can make it happen. Even if it's you don't see it, you can feel it enough, it will happen.
Yeah.
And the power increases when we all work together, y'all.
Yes.
That was the other thing I thought was cool, man. That's awesome.
Yes.
So go heal in nature. Open yourself up to what community means for you. How do you want to explore community, especially on a healing level, and how we can have deeper conversations about how we want to see our world. What does freedom really mean? And like Jess was saying, like just being intentional about how we go about these things when we deal with the polarity, because that's a lot. That's the mind fuck, right? To not get caught up in the what it is and how, and versus going like, how do we want to see it? Like, and you talked about that, and that's where you ended up, like, where you doing all your practices and what you offer. And so, it's not giving up, but also, tapping into spirit, because, you might get a download that's like, invent some wild shit that we need, and so being able to tap into nature connects you to the mission on Earth.
Yes.
And that's something that, you have to do and have to figure out how that's going to develop for you, but do it because there's messages there's healing there's upgrades there. And we all felt that.
Yeah.
And do it with grace. Take care of your body. Know that it's okay. It's just change. Change is great. Can't change the main constant in this world.
Yeah.
How do we respond to it?
Yeah.
How do we respond to
Dude,
it?
and understand there's a lesson in joy, like just joy. I think people use escapism as a way to like feel happy with all these different external things. But when we find something that like really brings us happiness, there's so much power in it. And if you chase that, I mean, I feel like you'll start to develop what your purpose is, what your dreams look like, all that kind of stuff, just from that like intrinsic feeling of just true happiness. Like,
Yes.
chase joy, y'all. Chase joy.
Yes. Black is poderosa.
Black is poderosa.
That's our tagline. All right, y'all. Thank you for tuning in.
I was like, it almost made me feel like you were doing it.
I was.